Good morning.
Morning.
Having a little sting this morning. If you have not ever listened to his If on a Winter's Night album, which was recorded live at, what cathedral? Some cathedral up north in England.
I don't know.
I'll post it. It's amazing. Amazing. Wow, is it a spectacular concert in this beautiful cathedral, and great kind of Christmas prep. Very unusual Christmas music, not the stuff you would expect, but really amazing concert. So we will definitely post that. Not just because I'm madly in love with Sting.
No, not at all.
Who, by the way, I did marry someone who's got all the craggy features of Sting. We don't have the home in Tuscany, sadly, but beyond that, it's good. It's good. You're an excellent facsimile of Sting, Dr. Mary.
I know more about plants than he does.
Yes, and that was really my get.
That was it. That's what got you in the end.
Truly is. Dr. Mary, I feel like we're at a weird angle again. Look how humongous I look.
You don't look humongous at all.
My face looks this wide. All right, I'll just try and get past that. Even though everyone who watches this knows I couldn't possibly. Anyway, happy Monday.
Take a breath.
Happy Monday
So
of
you got all
Christmas week.
discombobulated with Sting.
I know, it's true. It happens to the best of us. So, Moderation Monday. We only have one of these left after today. I kind of can't believe it. Feels like we just had Thanksgiving. You know, the world is inexplicably moving at the same pace it always has, despite the fact that it feels both super sped up and incredibly slowed down because of COVID. So, it is what it is, and we are moving towards the end of the year. So what are we talking about today, Dr. Mary?
Dana brought up this good topic this morning. We're actually going to head on address drinking in excess at Christmas.
Not in excess, not the band, in excess.
That's what I said. I said that. Bear in mind, only one of the two of us are actually speaking English. The other one's speaking American, so, you know.
That's true. Mother wants to know, what do you mean you only have one of these left? I just mean Moderation Monday. We may switch it up again in 2021. We're not ending the program, don't worry. Those three people, I really depend on it.
God.
No, we are not ending Daily Dose. I just mean this sort of thematic thing that we've been doing through Christmas. Yes, sorry, I think I just kicked the tripod, which I have to acknowledge since I'm so quick to publicly shame Dr. Mary when he does it. That was me. See, I'm equitable in all things, Dr. Mary.
Because you were listening to Sting.
It's true. So I was at the doctor for just a routine checkup this past week, and of course got the question, you know, do you smoke? Do you vape? How's vaping all of a sudden now just so regular? It's like, how is, well, I won't go off on that tangent. Anyway, do you smoke? No. Do you vape? No. Do you drink? And I said, yeah, some. And she said, well, how much? And I said, oh, I suppose on average 2 glasses of wine a week. I don't drink anything else. And then I came home and I was thinking, boy, am I being honest? And I absolutely will say, if you average out a year, I think I am being honest. But I wanted to know what Maz thought, because I have asked Maz all this time to be attentive to me, to make sure that I am just being conscientious about drinking. I never worried about myself when Maz was drinking, but I definitely drank more because it was something we could do together. But now I just want to be conscientious about it, because if I'm drinking at home, particularly during COVID, that means I'm drinking alone. And I don't want that to become a norm. So I asked you on a dog walk if you agreed with that, and that's kind of where this conversation came.
Yeah, and I did, so you got no worries.
Yeah, I mean, there might be weeks where I will drink 2 bottles of wine in a week. So that means, you know, about 8 glasses of wine through the week. But then I'll go for weeks and weeks and weeks and have nothing. So anyway, I asked you today if you wanted to just hit this head on. And your response was, well, don't we talk about that all the time? And I said, yes, but not directly. We will often say, that's not unlike drinking, blah, blah, blah. But we use it as kind of the foundation, not the substance. And so today it's the substance because there's often a lot of drinking around holidays. And this is such an unusual holiday because people aren't really out driving, so that means you don't have to be conscientious about that. And we're all sort of sitting home in this period of uncertainty or sadness or anxiety. And drinking can go from something you do to a problem pretty quickly. So when we decided to talk about it, then you brought up some really great examples.
There are some. One of them is when I was in
Back up more. Jeez.
I was getting comfortable. When I was in rehab, they actually made, one of the things we did first off was take one of those magazine "How much do you drink?" tests. So we did, and there were two counsellors there, and they both said, "Now, here's another copy. Do it again and tell the truth." And we did it again and tell the truth, and they said, "Now let's double it." And we doubled it, and they all put it on a whiteboard. It was a learning experience, and
it was a shame-filled learning experience.
After doing it without lying and doubling it, that actually got to where most of us actually drank.
And the thing
and let's bear in mind, we were in rehab for alcohol addiction. So, and then they said to us,
that's a good place to be honest.
They said to us, that is what everyone who takes these things do. The first thing they do is lie, because there's questions like, do you... And they were designed by a psychologist, so the questions are the same, they're just worded differently. So you see a question like, do you drink more having made a big meal for the family? And then 8 questions later, it's, how many big meals a day a week for the family do you cook? And they cross them back that way. So it is interesting. And I got to thinking, another person that Dana loves is Lucy Worsley.
I do love Lucy Worsley, the historian from the royal palaces. Oh,
see what I did there? Good Irishman telling a story. You drag it out as much as possible.
In the 15-minute allotted time.
We just saw this thing called the 12 Days of Tudor Christmas, which is really interesting. And she mentioned something that I totally forgot. Why are there little treats in an advent calendar? Because you were supposed to fast from December the 1st to Christmas Eve, and then for 12 days you ate and drank like a lunatic to celebrate Christmas and the pagan traditions that actually go with Christmas. And I think that's why the phrase comes, well, I'm drinking more because it's Christmas. And everyone does that.
Well, not everyone.
No, but a lot of people drink more.
Do,
there are more DUIs over the Christmas holidays. There are more instances of people ending up in hospital through drinking than you would think on an average Saturday night down by the lake.
I don't know what that means.
People go out drinking all day and then do something dumb when they're drunk.
I see, like ice fishing or
end up in a treatment room at a resort clinic.
Okay.
So it is something to consider.
Plus, there's a lot of depression at Christmas.
Yes.
Not every, I have written about this a lot in other instances, a lot of inspired home reflections pieces, but not everybody is holly and jolly about Christmas. And this year, wow, I just wrote a blog post this morning that I will probably put on social media tomorrow. This year, there are people devastated by loss, devastated by human loss, financial loss, safety of home loss, education loss, job loss. If you're somebody who's on the edge with addiction anyway,
this is something that you should be aware. Well, I hope you're aware of, because it is a crutch, and if you lean on it too much, you could. I'm not saying you will. You could be in trouble, and it's just something I think to be aware of. This Motivation Monday, the last one before Christmas, is Dana was right. Maybe we should just hit it head on. And it's also people that even in COVID, you could go to someone, you could go to a neighbour's house. Everyone's been in COVID, and they've invited you for dinner, and you go along, you meet someone for a few hours, then you go back to your place, and if you live on your own, you're just there. And that could be, if you are a drinker, that you might start drinking too much because you might just think, well, it's Christmas and this is it.
Yeah. And then I want to just address this point because Wendy talked about it on Thursday, and I'm really concerned that on Friday we did not thank Wendy for her fabulous visit with us on Thursday. She just gave another whole complex version of this story for us and for you. So thank you, Wendy Wheeler, for joining us.
And Wendy, you really nailed it when Dana asked you if you put exercise down as another addiction.
Yes, you did.
You explained addiction
so beautifully, Wendy.
Fantastically.
Yes,
you really
did. It really was helpful. I loved that. So Wendy talked about it, and our guest coming up this Thursday is going to, I think, talk about it too, because she's written a book, and it's in the book, and it was an absolute, utter, and complete surprise to me when I read Delane Shea's book, and then when Wendy re-articulated it, this idea of you don't have to drink in excess to have a problem with alcohol. Are you waking up in the morning and thinking about it on a consistent basis? Is it really what is living forefront in your mind? You might not have the physical addiction that Maz had or that some of our other guests have had, but a mental addiction is as damaging, sometimes differently and or worse than a physical addiction, because like when you got the alcohol out of your system, then you could begin to heal. But it's harder to get it out of your brain. You can't extract it from your brain. You have to just figure out how to work around it, and workarounds are hard. So that was really what got me thinking about whether or not I was not being truthful with myself. You've heard me say this a million times. I don't think I have, and you don't think I have, and I don't have a problem with alcohol. But do I think about it sometimes? My mom asked me after Wendy was on, and this is what I said. I said, if I've had wine for 3 or 4 days in a row, right around 4 o'clock, I'll start to think, oh, pretty soon I could have a glass of wine. And if I haven't had it, like I haven't had alcohol, I guess I had something when we went out with my dad and Mary. We were outside on Saturday.
Yeah, but that was a hot rum cider thing in a paper cup.
Oh, it was so good.
And it was, I mean, it was about -5 with the wind chill factor.
It was pretty
so
chilly.
I thought, I'll have a non-alcoholic beer, which was cold, which was
just a big mistake.
Hugely stupid thing to do because I was freezing.
Yeah, I was not. But like yesterday, I had no alcohol, and I didn't think about it at 4 o'clock, and I didn't care, and it didn't. So, it doesn't sit at the forefront of my brain. But if it is at the forefront of your brain, then I think our encouragement to you is to also don't judge it. You don't have to be filled with self-hatred or think how weak you are. Just acknowledge it.
Yeah, but here's another reason why you don't have a thing with alcohol. Is that, yes, you'd sometimes you'll have a drink when you're cooking and you'll finish it off when we're eating dinner.
Finish the drink, not the bottle.
Yeah, finish the drink. Yes, good, good segue there. And then you'd stop.
Yeah.
You don't have an after dinner drink. I usually make you a decaf tea because we're that old.
Because we're that fun. Yeah. So
that's why we're empty nesters. No one will come see us.
So that's it. Be present. Be conscious. Drink if you want to. We're not saying that if you have a night of drinking too much, oh my gosh, you're an alcoholic, get yourself to rehab. That's not what we're saying.
We're not saying bring back prohibition or anything like that.
No, but just be conscious.
Yeah.
Be moderate in it. You'll never regret drinking less. You will almost surely regret drinking more.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Nice.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
We'll post the Sting concert. It's a video. It's so beautiful. And then I also want to put in a Lucy Worsley plug. Today at noon, there is a carols and reading service being done at Hampton Court Palace's chapel and some other castle chapels around England. It's free. They're asking for a goodwill donation, which you do or do not have to do. But I'll post that link too, because we've been to some of those chapels. I love nothing more than boy choirs or choirs in cathedrals in England. So if you're looking for something to really put you in the holiday spirit this week, I think both of these concerts will do it. And then tomorrow we can talk about how incredible they both were. So we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.